Feudal warfare, self-defense, competition. Three very separate concepts commonly used to describe the martial arts. How is it that such conflicting terms have come to be referred to in the same manner? Could it be there is more to it? Today we will show you martial truth. To many, the words martial arts have a different significance, just as those who train in it do so for different reasons. For most of us that have never been exposed firsthand, our source for what martial arts are, we find on our television sets and on the big screen. Martial arts in each one are seen very differently. It is still called by the same name.
Some people have the misconception of that is what true martial arts is. People still use martial arts for self-defense. It has been modified over the years. Now we have to do gun self-defense. There's also an emphasis on non-lethal self-defense as well, because nowadays you don't want to kill somebody if you don't have to. You might want to subdue them, injure them slightly, but that way you don't go to jail.
In order to clarify what martial arts are, we first look to Websters Dictionary for the official definition of martial. It reads, suggesting war or military life. Art is also defined as a superior skill that you can learn by study, practice, and observation. In the book Secrets of the Samurai by Oscar Roddy and Adelie Westbrook, martial arts are defined under the section the qualification martial and the art of war as the adjective martial is semantically linked to military endeavors and therefore to the primary function of the military as a class, the waging of war.
I think when the military uses martial arts, yes, that it is the art of waging war. Some of those techniques could still be used.
Where then does self-defense and competition fit in? Roddy and Westbrook's answer to that is in the same paragraph. It is obvious that not all of these methods can be used effectively on the battlefield. Consequently, the all-inclusive qualification martial is inaccurate.
There's still use of knife, but now the sword is not used too often. It's still part of the arts, but most of the time on the battlefield they don't have swords anymore. There may be machetes though.
Why not instead keep the definition to martial arts, which basically mean the art of warfare, to mean exactly that? Instead, bring into common use another word or words for those arts not dealing with warfare. A term appearing recently amongst the martial arts community is civil arts. Webster defines civil as of or relating to or benefiting citizens as individuals. This would easily cover those combative disciplines that do not train under feudal warfare conditions, but rather for self-defense.
Using those two different terms, martial art versus civil arts, the person that is hearing that for the first time might be a little bit confused. Martial, meaning to fight or to engage in warfare. Most people understand that. Civil arts, they might not understand what that means. So if the education gets out there to the public and they understand what the differences are and what the similarities are, then it could be, I think, a very popular term. Self-defense is when I just want to protect my body against somebody or something that is trying to hurt me. Now, once you are subdued, or if you're unable to protect yourself, even though you attack me, I need to cease what I'm doing.
The other term cropping up has been sport arts, or martial sports. Webster defines sports as an active diversion requiring physical exertion and competition. This would evenly cover those combative disciplines that train for competitions.
Yeah, martial sport is basically when you take a traditional martial art and you take certain techniques out of it and you turn it into a sport form. If you're only going to do the sport side, you should call it a martial sport. That way it's not misleading. If you are engaged in a school that only does martial arts sport, and that's what you're looking for, then you're okay. But if you're looking for something that teaches you the self-defense side and the philosophy side, you may not get it if you go to a school that only engages in the sport side of martial arts. Sport fighting is very valuable if it's done the right way. Now, done the wrong way, it can be very counterproductive to the martial arts and to the people practicing it. The benefits are that You learn how to use certain techniques, maybe certain kicks, punches, or throws, or grappling techniques, and you get to practice it at full speed with usually safety gear on. But again, you have to be careful. If you only practice the sport side, you're limiting your techniques. You're only allowed to use certain things in the sports. So I may use 25% or 50% of the techniques, but I've got a whole nother barrage of techniques that I can use in true self-defense.
An example of these kinds of sports are the UFC competitions. However, some martial artists think unkindly upon them.
Well, the Ultimate Fighting Championships, it's given a distorted view of the martial arts. A lot of people think it's just, we just fight each other and it's very barbaric. They don't see the philosophy. They don't see the self-control, the humbleness. What they're doing is a very, very tough sport. There are rules. They say it's the Ultimate Fighting Championship, but it's actually a very tough sport. It is not a true fight where there could be chairs thrown at each other, eye gouging, biting, all kinds of crazy things. That is what fighting could really be like. So it is a good, tough sport, but it's not really true fighting or true self-defense. It is a sport derivative of martial arts.
All these different activities claiming ownership over the martial arts title, we looked into Webster's definition for martial arts. It reads, any of several oriental arts of weaponless self-defense, usually practiced as a sport. Hang on a moment. Let's look at certain words in here.
If that was true, there would only be, a few martial arts out there. But there was other arts from Greece, from Africa, even from the American Indians.
In the face of a clearly misdefined phrase, what should Webster do?
Change their definition a little bit.
Even with all this, would these terms ever come into common use? What use would it be to bother with extra terms?
I think with the proper education and advertising, marketing, it could be used, to differentiate. I think that would be effective because a lot of people don't know the differences of the martial arts. They don't know all the different things that are involved with the martial arts. So if they were better educated and they knew that there was different choices out there, I think the martial arts as a whole would grow. And the side benefit is that society as a whole would benefit. Because most martial artists, any true martial artist, is going to be the most kind, respectful, but yet confident person out there. So the more true martial artists we have out there, actually the less war, the less conflicts we're going to have. So hopefully that type of education will get out there.